Yo, what's good, YouTube family? It's your boy Swa. This is my first YouTube video on this new YouTube channel. So in the comment section after this video, just go ahead and leave any comments, ideas, thoughts, if you agree or disagree with the information I provided in this video. And also, I suggest everybody to do their own research as well so you can get a better conclusion to the information that I shared. But the topic of this video, I'm going to dive into real short and sweet. I'm going to dive into the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, the difference between the two, the importance of the two, and then I'm going to dive into how we've been programmed and how to reprogram yourself subconsciously as well. So jumping right into it, the conscious mind, you spend about 10% of your day making conscious decisions. Just remember 10%. The rest of that 90% is the subconscious mind, and that is all patterns and habits that have been formed and that we have formed and have been formed upon us from the age since we were born to up to 7, and then self-inflicted programming that we have done consciously or subconsciously. So knowing that the subconscious mind is just patterns and habits, a good example that I could just jump into real quick, right? So as music. So when you first listen to a song, you do not know any of the words that artist or musician is saying or is gonna say, and you don't really know the type of beat that's gonna be played as well, right? So understanding that the first time you listen to it, you kind of just vibe to it, get a feel for the song. Second time on, you may be listening more into the lyrics, and if you can't understand the lyrics, me personally, I've done it as well. I'll look up the lyrics on YouTube or Google so that I can, get a better feel for the song and understand what that artist or musician is trying to say. So the more and more you listen to it, the more and more that's the habit, pattern, repetition stage, right, of the subconscious mind. You keep feeding your mind that same information, your mind starts to pick up that information, right? So once you understand the lyrics to that song, you won't, let's say you start listening to that song for three months, right, 2 months. The next time you listen to that song, you'll still know or have a gist of the lyrics, right? And you can still sing along or rap along to that song. That's because you self-inflictedly program yourself to understand that song, and you program yourself to understand those lyrics, right, by repetition. So what I want to get into, right, is another example. You can go look up this interview yourself. Oprah Winfrey, yes, Oprah Winfrey got on the internet and she did an interview. I don't believe it was her show, but I do know that it was about 4 other hosts on there, co-hosts with her on that show, and she was talking about sexual abuse, right, on children. And word for word, you can go look at this up, research it yourself if you don't believe me. She got on she was talking to him about sexual abuse, and she said, if the sexual abuser, and I quote, if the sexual abuser is good enough and they know what they are doing, if they get the kid before the age of 7, the kid will most likely like it. How would you know that? And that the kid won't remember. And the key part about that is the age 7 that she said, right? And that's important because I just told y'all, from the age up until the age of 7, you are walking through life subconsciously, right? So understanding that you are walking through life subconsciously before the age of 7, that is where the habits are formed and patterns that are formed from observing, right? Keyword observing our parents, friends, people in the community. When you go to church, if you went to church as a kid, that upbringing lifestyle, you were programmed into that lifestyle, right? So that's why right now, subconsciously, like, you can't really remember any of your majority of the moments of your childhood, but you either remember the traumatic moments and events that happened in your childhood, or you remember the very good, happy, fun times of your childhood, right? Whether that was with friends, family, cousins, aunts, whatever it may be, right? So this is Oprah Winfrey saying that because you won't really remember that you won't really remember that event or experience if you were sexually abused, but you remember parts and pieces of it, right? The older you get, the more and more you put those pieces together and understand, like, you know what I'm saying, something that wasn't supposed to happen happened to me. And it's crazy because Oprah Winfrey knows that, and she's basically went out on live TV and told people out there that if you get a kid before the age of 7 and you sexually abuse them, that they most likely will not remember that experience, right? But you have to understand that it's subconsciously ingrained into your brain, right? So for someone that was sexually abused as a kid and they go through their life, that dictates how they interact with people. The first time that you may, you know what I mean? First time you may get some butt, you feel me? Something like that. right? It may be a little awkward, you may not feel right, and that's because that subconscious part that you don't remember that you were sexually abused as a kid, but your body, it still remembers that because it was subconsciously programmed into you, right? So what I want to jump into also about how we've been subconsciously programmed, ever since we were growing up, or ever since we were born, honestly, is through influencers, which has to do with social media, you know what I mean, Instagram models, whatever it may be. Um, Music artists, actors, whoever's on TV, celebrities, basically, right? These influencers are affecting us on a daily basis, and we have to understand that. Me personally, my favorite artist right now is Young Thug, right? So for me, being as a Young Thug fan ever since around 2010, 2012 time, right? Understanding that Young Thug was really the first person on the wave of wearing skinny jeans, right? So Thug got criticized for a while for wearing skinny jeans, but if you go out on the 9 out of the 10 people, I would say a good 6 out of the 10 people that you see on a daily basis got on some type of skinny jeans. You feel me? Like that's just what we cop now. That's what we wear. That's because we kept seeing that, right? Started with Thug. Me personally started with Thug, and then now everybody wears skinny jeans. So like that's just what we do, right? For instance, another example is back in the early back in like the early 2000s, 2002, 2000, you know what I mean, Soldier Boy times, everybody was wearing baggy jeans and bootcut jeans and baggy t-shirts and sagging their jeans. That's where the sag and the swag started, right? So understanding that at that point in time, everybody was wearing baggy jeans and baggy clothes because that was what we did, you know what I mean? And that's how we are subconsciously programmed. So understanding how we are subconsciously programmed, when you are so invested into a celebrity or artist or any type of influencer, right, and you're consciously always looking at their pages, always listening to their music, always watching their interviews, you kind of subconsciously want to be like them because that's someone that you look up to, right? So you start to subconsciously be programmed by the way they talk, the way they act. For some people, if it's your favorite rapper and he's a Crip, right, you start, you know what I'm saying, affiliate yourself with the Crips, right, just because that's your favorite artist. So we have to understand that we are being subconsciously programmed. And another way that we are through social media right now is the Black Lives Matter movement, right? We're seeing all this police brutality from 10, 15, 20 years ago popping up on the timelines now because it's just fueling us and fueling our emotion, right? When you are in a conscious state, you are going off a lot of, you know what I mean, just natural reaction. But subconsciously, that's when that starts to hit at home. That's when it starts to hit emotion. And that's when, you know what I mean, it don't sit with us, right? So like Black Lives Matter right now is going crazy. I support it, but I have to also understand that there's always a hidden hand and a hidden agenda behind it. And the Black Lives Matter movement, for people that do not know, is funded by George Soros and the Clintons. They fund those Antifa people that come out with their black hoodies and book bags and are very organized and structured in what they do to cause riots. During the protests, they fund those people. You have to understand that. So that is why random bricks and weaponry is popping up around cities. And cops are putting bricks out there because those are the Freemasons. I'm not going to get into that. The police department and FBI has been infiltrated by Freemasons. I understand that. And for my people that's woke, you understand that too. So understanding that, you have to understand that we cannot act off of emotion. And when you sit back and look at the facts and what's really going on, racism will never change. It's going to stay here. It's always going to be here. This country was founded upon racism and violence. So we have to understand that this shit is not going nowhere. So yes, we may be getting people booked right now for the stuff that they did police brutality wise, but this is never going to end. What I also want to get into is habits, right? And this is, like I said, this is part of the subconscious mind because your habits goes into the subconscious part of your brain. So it takes 28 days to 30 days to break a habit. It takes 21 to 25 to create a habit. Understanding that, it's obviously harder for you to break a habit, but that's where that mental willpower has to come in because you have to let go to grow, you feel me? So if you are stagnant in your life and you do not know why, start with your thinking and how you are operating subconsciously, right? So if you want to stop a habit, let's say smoking cigarettes is going to take you 28 days of putting that joint down. But let's say instead of you just putting the cigarette down and just sitting there and not smoking a cigarette all day, replace that with a good habit. Let's say going to the gym. You want healthy, you need something to do, right? You want to lose weight, get your body right. You want to feel better, look better, be better, right? Replace that with going to the gym. After them 21 to 23 days of going to the gym, right? Your body is just going to naturally force you to kind of go to the gym, and that's because you subconsciously program yourself, and that if you don't go to the gym one day, you're not going to feel right. So we all been there. if you haven't, give it a try and understand that the subconscious mind is very important. 90% of your day is going through the subconscious mind. I want to talk to y'all real quick about two more things before I wrap this video up. I don't want this video to be too long. But I want to talk to you about the law of attraction, and this has to do with your subconscious mind as well. This is very, 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 very important to understand the law of attraction, because I want to get into it real quick. The law of attraction is basically you get what you think about most of the time. You get what you think about the most, right? So if we are constantly thinking negatively, and this has to do with a lot of trauma based upon when we were little kids, right? That trauma that we went through is still subconsciously following us throughout our lives and dictating the decisions that we make on a daily basis. And when you understand that and truly accept that your trauma happened and it made you who you are today, and you truly move forward, right? And start to reprogram your mind and understand that you get about what you think about the most, right? So I like to put it like this, a good example for that, let's say relationships, right? People always say niggas ain't shit, blah, blah, blah. Or why do I keep getting this type of man? Or why do I keep getting this type of female, right? It is because you keep thinking that you do not want a female like that. So you are in return going to get a female like that because you are thinking about the female that you do not want, or the male that you do not want, right? So if you reprogram your subconscious mind, there's videos that I'll drop a link to, two of them that me personally, that I listen to almost on a daily basis, multiple hours a day. I listen to it when I go to sleep. I would say about 5 out of the 7 days of the week. And it honestly helped me and reprogram my subconscious as well. It has to do with I am affirmations. I am affirmations. Look those up. But that, when you go to sleep and you play that video, is basically saying I am happy, I am blessed, I am courageous, I am bringing infinite amount of money into my life, I am abundant. And this is just you subconsciously reprogramming yourself to believe that. It takes 21 to 23 days to form a habit. So if you do that for 30 days every night, just play it when you're asleep, right? And just play it out loud, let you subconsciously hear it, because you have to understand when you're asleep, you are still picking up information. So if you fall asleep listening to a TV show or watching a movie or watching some bullshit, you are subconsciously programming yourself when you go to sleep, right? So you do that, listen to them affirmations when you go to sleep, and just after 30 days, you see the change that goes on in your life and how you think mentally, right? But back to the law of attraction. Get about what you think about the most of the time. Kevin Tradillo, you can look this up. Your wish is your command on YouTube. Your wish is your command. And this is a secret society member, right? 33rd degree Mason, that basically a Freemason that went through that structure. And he gives out his advice to the public and what he believes that helps Freemasons obtain the life and the riches and wealth that they obtain. And I just want to dive real quick into this. I don't want this video to be too long. We're already at 13 minutes. But the four things that he harps on in that, right? The basic 4 things that we have to conquer and master and understand, and this will change our lives, and it's changing my life right now as I speak, because I used to be a very negative person, and my spirit and energy is higher now. I understand I'm not emotionally affected by things as much. It's because I came to these 4 basic understandings, right? First thing he talks about is, who do you listen to? This is very important because, like I said, you are subconsciously programming yourself the more and more that you listen to certain things. So if you subconsciously listening to bullshit, majority of our music nowadays for the younger generation, right? We are programming ourselves on the main 3 things they talk about: sex, money, drugs, right? That is the 3 main things that they talk about, and that's the 3 main things that they are subconsciously programming us to think about all the time, right? And those are very negative vibrational things to always think about: sex, money, and drugs, right? Unless you are harnessing your sexual energy in a very positive way. That's one. Who do you listen to? Start listening and reading books. Reading books, you get that hidden knowledge. Like he said, Kevin Tradillo, shout out to him. He said that basically the hidden information and hidden knowledge and the hidden magic is in books. They started putting that information in books because as generations kept getting, you know what I mean, generations kept coming, we started reading less and less. So the very wealthy people read all the time. That's a fact. You can look that up yourselves and research that. So who do you listen to? Second thing he goes into that video talking about is the basically what I forget the name for it, but it's basically how much are you willing to learn, right? And how much are you willing to accept change? So that's the second thing. right? So when you're in a tough situation or adversity hits or something that you didn't expect to go your way happens, right? Or something that doesn't go your way happens, just take a deep breath, sit there mentally and ask yourself, how much am I willing to accept change? Take a deep breath and accept that change that's going to happen, right? Because it's infinite amount of possibilities on a daily basis that could happen to any one of us. So you have to understand in that you can't assume or guess, you know what I mean, make an assumption that every possibility is going to happen the way that you thought about it, right? So the third thing, like I said, first thing, who do you listen to? Second thing, how much are you willing to learn? How much are you willing to accept change? Third thing is your training scale index, right? That is 90% thinking, 10% doing. So 90% of your thought process, 10% of the how. Okay? How am I going to get this done? Do not focus on that. Have that complete faith and belief that is going to, at the end of the day, it's going to work out to the best way that it's supposed to work out for you, right? Understand that, yes, you're going to have to put a little grind behind it, but focus on that thought process, that 90%, that belief factor, that faith that you have, believe in that during the process, and focus less on the how. The how is 10%, the thought process is 90. The fourth thing is the 4 stages of how we learn, right? The 4 stages. The first stages is unconscious incompetence. That is, you do not know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know, right? So as a good example, when we were kids, first time you saw a shoelace, you didn't know how to tie a shoelace, right? That is the unconscious incompetent stage. The conscious incompetent stage is that once we saw that shoelace, we knew that we didn't know what the fuck a shoelace was or how to tie a shoelace. So, you know what I mean? The next stage is then the conscious competence. Conscious competence is that we did not know that, you know what I mean? That is at the stage after the stage of you knew that you didn't know. So now you're gonna you had to keep tying your shoe, the repetition stage, subconsciously program yourself to get the shoe tied, right? Then the fourth stage is unconscious competence, and that is when you don't think about it. It's all natural, right? So now if your shoelace comes untied, you just naturally tie your shoe. So understanding those 4 basics, who do you listen to, how much are you willing to learn and accept change, right? The training scale index, which is 90% thought, 10% how, and then also the 4 phases of how we learn, right? So this is going to be, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this video up now. I appreciate y'all if y'all stayed to the end. If you have any comments, please feel free to comment below. I'm going to put all my social media in the description box below. Give this video a thumbs up and share this video as well. I'm going to be dropping another video within a week. So just stay updated with that, and I'm going to be in contact with you guys. I appreciate y'all. Peace.